Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode 99 of the Nearly Men Video Games podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday, the 11th of November, 2021. I am Colin Little, and joining me today is Blunderboy87.
Hello.
And Paul Kaczynski.
Oh, hi there. Hello.
We are the Nearly Men, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy.
Mr. Producer.
We have nothing to do with the video games industry. We don't make them. We don't sell them. We're not even particularly good at them. We are the Nearly Men, and at some point, you have probably kicked our asses online.
Not going to lie. See without the nonsense of last week, that was boring.
Yeah. I think that's the first time Colin's ever said it, but a stumble here or there. That was very... That's slick.
I thought that was properly... That was good. I thought I did that very
definitely,
well.
It was dull.
It was a wee bit compared
Lots
to
of
the
eye
shenanigans.
contact with the camera.
Dull.
Actually pointed, including the audience and the...
Oh.
the yeah.
That'll work on the radio.
Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Well, you see, the thing was, it was an energetic and vibrant performance, so audibly it worked wonderfully, and it
It's going to
had
carry
a couple
over.
extra different treats for the people out there watching.
We
know,
treats for the visual
We
listeners.
treat.
that was
We
me.
treat.
I work on many planes,
Beautiful.
many planes.
Do you know what I mean?
Love to see it, or for the listeners hear it.
Exactly.
Those multiple planes.
But we
Listen,
can all
Dave,
feel it.
Listen, we have done 99 of these, okay?
What?
When you said that,
I don't think we should be that impressed that I finally got it right. I don't think we should really be going, oh my God, wow, look at this. 99 attempts it took. And if that was that good, then this does not sound good for any of us.
No,
Hey,
it does not, does it?
small mouse steps. You got to celebrate the small mouse steps.
Small miles? What's a small milestep? What's a milestep?
Do you mean a
Oh, it's
milestone?
You mean
Yeah, small
you mean
milestones.
Like baby steps and milestones? Are
I
you
think I've done that thing I do when I mix up my sayings.
mixed metaphors?
I mean, I do it all the time, so if I didn't, it'd be a bit disappointing.
Either that or it's like,
Zero
how
and
big
so-
are your feet? Mile steps? Jesus.
Well,
It's not my feet, it's my legs.
How are we doing? How are we doing, gentlemen? Are we well?
as
Yeah.
always, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Busy, but I've actually managed to play games.
What?
I see that Blunder's been
I
playing
know.
lots of games.
I've managed to play video games. I've not been going to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I've been a wee cheeky hour here or there for some video games, and some very good video games, must say.
Blunder has been playing lots of video games. Paolo's been playing lots of video games. I've not really been playing that many video games. But we're going to talk about video games regardless. And luckily enough, lots of our lovely listeners and viewers have also been playing lots of video games, and they've been in touch. So we're going to hear all about their games as well. If you would like to get in touch, and bear in mind that next episode is going to be the episode 100 spectacular. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. But if you would like to be included in episode 100 of the Nearly Men Video Games podcast, then you're going to have to get in touch. And to do that, here is how you do it.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Gary at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
Yes, there we go. So, what have you been waiting for? So, as I said, it's actually been a bit of a slow sort of news week. There's not a massive amount to talk about, but I'd like to actually mention a couple of things that I spotted. Mainly
Oh,
I don't know if
he's
any
gone
of
off
you guys saw
script.
this.
Everyone, he's gone off script. We don't know what's going. We don't know what's
Danger,
going. We are not
danger,
responsible.
Robinson.
Any of you guys saw this? Did you see the Elden Ring gameplay?
I didn't, but I saw people talk about it and they were impressed. For me, it would have been a bit of like, oh look, Dark Souls with a different name.
I'm exactly the same as Blunder. I saw a little bit of it and I was like, oh yeah, Dark Souls, yeah.
I'm not convinced that you would be
Ooh.
quite like that, Blunder.
Oh.
It's properly, and I mean properly, open world.
I heard that.
And that really caught my interest. I wasn't sure about Elden Ring, and when I saw the previous teaser that they released, or the previous little trailer they showed us, it looked very much just like Dark Souls. And I'd actually kind of forgotten that that it was open world at that time. They weren't really showing you any of the open world. But actually seeing the footage, you're on horseback, you're rampaging about, and it's genuinely like, you know, you can mark things on the map about where you know there's difficult enemies, or where you know there's treasure, or things like that. There's these sort of like magical sort of like springboard sort of areas where you ride your horse onto it and jump, and it blasts you like 100 feet in the air and up a cliff and stuff. It's
Oh my God.
bonkers. It really does look very cool. It's very funny that it's 10 years, the 10-year anniversary of Skyrim, because actually there's a very Skyrim-esque kind of feel to the game in some ways. There's a little bit of footage in the trailer, or in the gameplay video, where he's the player's character's riding a horse across this thing, and across this sort of plain, sort of forest. It all looks beautiful, and this massive dragon comes out of the sky, and they start fighting a very sort of Skyrim-esque battle with this enormous dragon. But the player's on horseback. It's not scripted. It's entirely. This is not like a big cinematic, like you would expect in a kind of Uncharted-esque sort of, for a God of War. This is a kind of Dark Souls battle taking place in an open world with an enormous dragon, and it looks astonishingly cinematic at the same time. It's not like, at least on that trailer, it's not running up and slashing them and a bunch of numbers coming away. At one point, the player rides his horse like underneath the dragon and slashes at the top of the dragon, and you see like the sword cut into it. You see blood. You see it looks fabulous. I was genuinely very taken by it, and actually suddenly went, oh, I think I'm into this now. So I'm quite excited about it. I'm quite excited. It's I think one of the tricky things about Dark Souls games, which can be off-putting for some people, and I've found it a little bit with Demon Souls, is if you get a bit stuck, if you can't get past a certain boss, or you get a bit lost and you can't find the route to the next sort of hub, then you get very stuck. I think that's going to be a lot harder to do. I mean, there will be areas of the map you're like, wow, there's a boss there or a monster there that I cannot deal with right now, so I'm staying out of the way of there. But by that token as well, it's not like, well, I guess I'm stuck here till I beat this thing because I can't go anywhere else.
Right.
And I think that will open that game up to other people. It's still going to clearly be very difficult. It did look difficult. It's still going to be a Dark Souls game, but I think it's going to have more freedom than any of the other sort of FromSoft games have got, and I just think it's looking fabulous. I really do. Yeah, so I was really taken with it.
I'll need to check it out. I've got a kind of love-hate relationship with Dark Souls. I've only played Dark Souls 3, to be honest, with any real worth. And it's I loved playing it. I loved playing the game, but I get bored very quickly. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is, because it's not like I wasn't enjoying playing the game. I loved playing it. I loved I love the movement of it. I love the mechanics of it. I love the fact it was very, very hard. But I kind of got, I'd beat one boss and then you'd go, right, okay, and then it'd be more the same, and I'd be a bit like, I think it's because I don't want to work out the kinks. I don't want to start doing it, I always remember playing Jedi Fallen Order, and one of the particular bosses was a real nasty one for me. I couldn't beat it, and I remember Blunder saying to me, "What? Have you learned the rhythm yet? Have you learned the order of what they do?" And I'm a bit like, I don't want to do that in a game. I don't want to learn the rhythm of it. I want to be surprised. I want it to be organic, and I think that's maybe what gets me about Dark Souls a wee bit. That you have to kind of learn what the boss does, because it's a sequence. I don't know.
Do you know? I don't I don't mind when you've got to learn a boss's attack pattern in a game where if the boss looks at you, you die. See if it's a game where when you first meet that boss, you're going to stand a chance to pick up the rhythm a wee bit, and you're kind of like, right, I'm getting into it. What I find with the Dark Souls games is the first time you meet the boss, it just flicks you and you're dead. And then the second time you go to the boss, you get a wee bit further and you learn a bit of its rhythm.
Right, okay.
And then the third time you go, you might be lucky to get to the next stage, but then the rhythm change and you're like, all right, next phase of the fight. And it's like back to square one. I find that's where I get a little bit disheartened, because I like strategy and I like the rhythm, and there's something very rewarding figuring it out. But I find but I've played Bloodborne more than others. I find with Bloodborne sometimes you've got the rhythm and then they just throw caution to the wind and aggro you, and then you're dead, and you're like, oh, we've never done that before. And then I'm like, but then what was the point of trying to learn the rhythm? So now that I know the rhythm, the game's like,
the Souls games don't really have a rhythm. The enemies aren't really predictable in that sort of way in the Souls games. The enemies have moves, and you need to know what moves you can avoid. And so
that's what I mean. Like, it's their attack patterns or their thingies.
They have moves
wardens
that they will do that you can learn, but they don't do them in a set order. Like there's a baddie in the original Zelda, Link to the Past. It attacks in a certain order. You know which one's coming generally. It's not like that. But,
it's not that kind of pattern, but it's reading their tails, but sometimes their tails are so similar, or sometimes there's one that I was watching original Steven fight this boss, and I was like, and in my head I was like, right, it's done that, so you do this, it's done that, so you do this, and then it did something, went, oh, well, the past 18 times Steven's fought it's never done that.
I just love that. Right. That's what I love about the Dark Souls games.
But then I'm like, you're giving me one thing, like give me another, and then I get bored and I get frustrated and I give up.
I
threw my joypad to the ground. I'm like, no.
It's funny Paulo says that because I'm using Jedi Fallen Order as an example triggers me anyway, because it's just not that great a game. Unfortunately, I had a very interesting experience with that game where I mostly liked it. I often hated it, and in the end was like, this could have been better. I desperately hope, because I quite like the story. I think the story was probably the best thing about that game by a mile. Apart from obviously it looked very shiny and the lightsabers were fun to swing about, but the combat for me was a sort of like Souls rip-off and not done as well as Souls. And I hated all the Tomb Raider platforming stuff. I utterly hated that.
Do you know what's weird?
And the amount of sliding,
the Souls-like games
the amount
better.
of sliding.
What was that?
I like the Souls-like games better. See, like Star Wars Fallen Order, whatever it's called. Darksiders 3.
Mm-hmm.
See if they're like Souls-like, but just not as annoyingly difficult. I tend to finish them. Like I finished Fallen Order, I finished Darksiders 3. There's a couple of others. If you think like Hollow Knight's sort of that Souls-esque side scroller, which kind of goes back to Castlevania days. Those games I find me, I just seem, it's kind of like Paul, I just seem to get so bored or so stuck in.
Well, I think
those games, I'm just like, I give up.
I think Elden Ring
anymore.
might help fix that, because I have to say the overwhelming thing that I got from Elden Ring and the gameplay video I saw, the 30-minute gameplay, is speed. The game feels faster. The horseback, you're not trudging with heavy armor and lumbering to the next enemy and then fighting this guy and then lumbering on to the next. It looks much more fluid, much more faster. The player was on horseback. and like passed by a sort of like war party with a wagon and enemies that were walking away with this stuff. And you could either they probably had quite good treasure on that cart if you wanted to stop and fight them, but there was like 7 or 8 of them, so you know that in itself's taken on a bit of a challenge. But it just feels a faster looking game. I think it's going to be great. I really do.
I'm very open to it. I am. I'll definitely check it out.
I'll probably watch Colin play it and buy
it.
No, you'll watch the starting screen for me playing it, and then you'll buy it, and then decide that actually.
No.
I watched you play Sekiro for like 3 seconds. I was like, "But."
You'll tell Blunder you're streaming it tomorrow, and Blunder will buy it that night.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually
I was so taken by your stream. Although, do you know what's interesting? So, flicking through the TikToks, and there's a game coming out.
Do you like the TikToks? I like the TikToks. Do you like the TikToks?
There's a game coming out called The Lies of P, and it's basically someone's turned Pinocchio, or the story of Pinocchio, into like this dark fantasy game, and it looks like Bloodborne. It looks like the sequel to Bloodborne, and the comments are funny. They're like, they really say Bloodborne 2 is not coming. Hold my beer. And it looks like Bloodborne, but then there's like these mannequin puppets that were attacking the main player. There was no info in the story and stuff, but it's interesting that seems to be coming out.
It looks pretty cool.
It looked pretty good. Like, but then everyone was in the comments like, "Okay, do the Lies of the Little Mermaid and the Lies of Cinderella." And I was like, "Oh, no, don't start the game fairy tales."
So yeah, there was that. Obviously, there is a couple of things, a couple of new games that I know we will somewhat be discussing. Forza's out now. We will. I know Paolo's played that, so we'll no doubt talk about that in a little while. Also, I believe we might have a little chat about some of the Grand Theft Auto Remastered trilogy, but I saw a funny thing that apparently, at least on the Switch, it's not running very well. I don't know if you've seen this. Apparently, yeah. I saw the Fat Consular on Twitter, who's a game reviewer for Pure Xbox and what's the Nintendo page he reviews for anyway. Anyway, he said he's been playing it on the Switch and I'd maybe wait for the reviews. I don't know when the embargo is, but it does kind of sound like there's a couple issues. I did see some people who obviously weren't embargoed in the chat talking about the fact that the controls were a wee bit stuttery or something, or it was a bit weird. I don't know. So that's interesting because I'm kind of quite taken by. I like the art style of what they've done with it. I like the way they've remastered the games rather than tried to make them photorealistic. They've still got the feel of the older games. This is, of course, the remaster of GTA 3, GTA Vice City, which is both me and Blunder's favourite.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. And then there's also GTA San Andreas, which is a belter as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how it's running elsewhere. And I know that there's been a few issues with the PC on Forza. I've been seeing that about. People have been having a bit of problems with that. But it certainly seems to be running very well on the Xbox consoles. I guess PC ports are always likely to be a little bit temperamental, just with the myriad of sort of customizations and all the various different graphics cards and CPUs and various other things. I guess there's always the potential that something's going to be a bit wrong. I'm sure it'll get fixed quite quickly. Is there any other news anyone would like to touch on?
That jumped out at me.
Don't think so. Nothing really. Oh, Spider-Man's finally coming to Avengers after like what, 1 million years.
I saw that, yes.
But with no gameplay trailer, just a cinematic.
Is it really? Oh no.
Yeah. But I'll be able to talk about a highlight of something else later on. So I mean, if you've been dying for Spider-Man, you can watch a CGI video of it.
Should we tease episode 100 just now, do you think? Should we put that in the news?
Go for it, Stephanie.
Why don't we?
Go for it.
So, episode 100 of the Nearly Men podcast is going to be right here, live on Twitch at 8 p.m. on the 25th of November. That's 2 weeks tonight. It will also, as usual, for our podcast listeners, it will come out on audio everywhere you usually find it.
I
but
guess
it's going to be
episode 100 will be in 3 parts.
It's going to be I think it'll be a bit of a bumper episode. So yeah, we've got loads planned. Hopefully we'll have some lots of fun. I don't know. Should we tease? Paulo's been working hard. I don't know if we can tease anything. But what do you think?
I suppose we can tell people for the first time in 100 episodes, all 3 of us will be wearing trousers.
Will we?
But that was we said that.
I didn't.
We said that.
Didn't agree with that.
What?
Maybe I'm wrong there then.
No. You have to wear all 3 of our trousers.
There we are. That's the challenge. That's the challenge for Paulo. And Paulo, could I be wearing any more pants?
Pads.
Yeah. I felt that was going to make that was more of a reference. Doesn't matter.
I get where you were going.
We have some fun. We have some shenanigans planned, and we have some input from some community members. We've got a few folk we've spoken to who are going to help us out with some fun activities to put us through the ringer. I guess so. That'll be a lot of fun. I don't know. We might keep it all secret, or we might tease it a little bit closer to the time. But yeah, I mean, I just can't believe it. It's been 100 episodes.
I know, 100 episodes. How long has it been? 6 years has it been? 2015.
2015 we started. Yes, so 6 years.
6
which is, I mean, that's not. I mean, 100 episodes in 6 years isn't that many.
Imagine when we're doing the Twitch schedule for those 6 years. I mean, where would we be? Episode 300 or something by now?
I mean, probably. Aye.
I suppose we need to shout out. I mean, we've not actually finalised this off air, but were we wanting people to give us things?
We could do. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yes.
We will need to tell them about that if we want.
Right. Why don't you do that, Paulo?
Right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong then, because these were all just ideas that were floated. But we wanted, was it fan fiction?
Yes.
Nearly Men fan fiction.
Which is streamable at Before the Watershed.
Yes, it needs to be TOS and non-explicit podcast friendly.
Yeah.
So no swear words. It can be fairly weird, I suppose.
Think carry on level, carry on humor. It's probably as far as we can go for the podcast.
Yeah.
So fan fiction. If anybody wants to write any Nearly Men fan fiction, doesn't need to be 100 pages long. It could be
500 words. 500.
It could be a Nearly Men haiku. Anything send in, and we will try and include it and carry on up the podcast. Thank you, Scruffy. Send stuff in, and we'll try and include it in episode 100.
If you want to send us in a Nearly Men inspired piece of art,
beautiful,
or behind us.
Or yes, we could display it on the podcast. If you would like to, I don't know. And if you get your creative juices flowing, that sounds weird. And create something. The Nearly Men is the stimulus.
Yes,
this is not helping.
The medium is your choice.
The medium is your choice. The Nearly Men is the theme, and if you would like to create something for episode 100, you will be immortalized in episode 100.
Yeah. So something just to bear in mind is we're primarily audio. We are primarily audio, even though we're on Twitch just now and we're live and we're on camera and we've got display. We're primarily audio, so if it's audio, great. If it's not audio and it's, as Blunder was saying, some sort of art that we could display behind us, then that's fine. Send that in as well, and we can throw that up on the socials.
Yep, we can put it on the website and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Well, anything you want to do, if you would like to be included in the Nearly Men episode 100, please do. Sherry Bobbin says bobbleheads or Funko Pops. If somebody wants to make Nearly Men Funko Pops or bobbleheads, I'm sure we'd be delighted with that.
We're looking at you, Sunday Vanilla.
But yes, I think that would be a lot of fun, and we do have a couple of features coming as well. We've got a couple of folk from community, some of our streamer friends who have some things planned for us, which I think will be a lot of fun. I think it'll be nice and entertaining, and we're just it'll be, I mean, it's always a bit slapdash, the podcast anyway, but I think it'll be a wee bit more relaxed and sort of a fun way to do it. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd always kind of hoped that we would probably do episode 100, live, and we could have potentially done it with an audience. Just with the way everything is with the pandemic, which is still going on, this seems to be the best way to do it anyway. But we will eventually get to see us all in one big room, I imagine. But in the meantime, we're going to try and get that experience online. It's a lot of fun.
It's going to be good. It's going to be bonkers. Yeah, and if something comes to mind that we've not mentioned that you think of, get in touch. Ideally, we'd love a week's notice of anything we don't know about.
Yes, indeed.
Just in case some prep needs to be done, because it's not like this is our full-time job. We have to fit this around everything else. So yeah. So if you think of something, get in touch. If you want to do something, if you go, I've made a Nearly Man song. Can I record it and give it to you? Then yes.
I told you about that song in private, Pablo.
Sorry, it was just so good, Colin.
I told you about that song.
It's just so good.
It was a minute disc song.
Awkward.
Anyway. Right, enough of that nonsense. I think we've dragged that out long enough. Paolo,
yo,
how is there any crumbs? Have you got any wee morsels anywhere? Any wee crumbs?
There's always a crumb for you, Colin.
Yes.
Right, here they are. You ready?
You bet.
Bethesda have got a one-pager, they're calling it, of Fallout 5. I presume a one-pager is a sheet that describes what Fallout 5 could be.
Like an elevator pitch.
An elevator pitch, exactly, Colin, exactly. So Fallout 5 is coming, but they were very clear to state that Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 will be first. I think, is it Todd Howard? Is that his name? Am I making that up? Todd Howard, the head of Bethesda.
Yep.
If he could wave a magic wand and have Fallout 5 appear, he would do it. But he said, realistically, we've got 2 other games that we want to get out, so it's going to be years and years away. Speaking of years and years away, EA have kind of confirmed a new Fight Night game. They have greenlit a Fight Night game, the boxing franchise. Still years away, they say. It has been a decade since Fight Night Champion released on the 360 and PS3, but they have greenlit a new Fight Night game. I quite like a boxing game.
Yeah, Fight Nights were pretty good.
I'm not a huge boxing fan, but I do like a boxing game. And your last wee Morceau, is we get our first look at the new Games Master. Do you remember Games Master?
I still love Games Master.
We got a first look at the new Games Master, hosted by our very own Rab Florence. And Trevor McDonald as the Games Master, and he looks pretty good.
That's good.
The whole thing looks very much in the same flavour as it was before, and both poking fun at it and keeping the homage to it as well. You can get a good look at that when it comes out on the 21st of November on E4's YouTube channel. E4's YouTube channel on the 21st of November. And that's your Cozy's Crumbs, eh?
There we are.
There we go.
I didn't know it was on YouTube. I thought it was going to be on E4.
E4's not a thing though, is it now? Is it still a channel? Well, it's BBC Three I'm thinking of.
I know E4 is still a channel.
I don't watch telly, so I don't know.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Back in my day, I was like,
Jeez.
what's channels in the telly?
There was only 3. There was only 3. Can't remember when Channel 4 started. 80s, I think.
Yeah, there was only 3.
82?
There was only 3. There you go, see? There was, that's it. That's it. And his telly was steam powered.
Yeah, we had to ride a bike to keep it going.
That's not how steam works. That's not how the force works. I bet you would be shoveling bits of coal in the back of your telly, not riding a
No, it was
bicycle.
a dynamo, mate.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Right, you, use your trivia.
I'll give you it. Here's time.
We've still not got a jingle. Blunder, we need the jingle.
We do.
Come on.
I've got the jingle.
Okay, here we go.
Once a man full but short on time. Have no worries, it'll be fine. He's got you covered, you'll be glad to know. It's called Little Trivia on the Nearly Men Show.
Hey!
There we go. See?
Still need to record that. Still need to record it.
Yeah. You can drop a sick beat.
Oh, here we go. Here's time for some called Little's Little Trivia. During the production of GoldenEye 007, developers considered having players unplug and reinsert the N64 rumble pack every time they wanted to reload their weapon.
Oof.
Woofed.
Can you imagine?
Jeez, oh.
I quite like the idea of that. I think that's quite cool. But that would be unworkable. You just end up breaking your rumble
So many
pack.
broken control pads.
Yeah, it'd be awful. This one's for you, Paolo.
Oh.
Henry Cavill
Love him.
almost missed the call for the role of Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft.
I knew that story.
Yep.
He was doing a raid, I think.
He really is. Although he's like built like an absolute proverbial and incredibly handsome, he's one of us.
Honestly, he's a Greek god.
He's one of us.
Do you know you get people in the world, right? You get people in the world that are different to everybody else. Do you know that way? Like I can imagine somebody like Madonna or like Elvis. I'm trying to think of people that you would see them and they would be like, you're not human, you're something else. Henry Cavill was a wee bit like that. He was just too chiseled and it was, oh my god.
Yeah, Paolo saw him with his own
peepers.
His own eyes.
His own peepers. He would turn me.
Yep.
He would.
Anyway, back to Call Little's Trivia. Henry Cavill would turn Paul Kaczynski. Next up, scientists have shown, this is for you, Paolo, this might help any problems you have here.
This is called Little's Trivia for Paul Kaczynski.
Scientists have shown that playing Tetris can ease cravings for sex, drugs, and food. So there we go. Any rock stars out there that are struggling, or Paolo that's been just
I can confirm
too much Henry Cavill talk. Then
I can confirm
Tetris will sort you right out.
I can confirm it doesn't work for food.
Oh well, that's that blown then. Anyway, that was your Colin Little's Little Trivia.
Give us that again, Blunder.
Once a man full but short on time. Have no worries, it'll be fine. He's got you covered, you'll be glad to know. It's Colin Little's Little Trivia on the Nearly Men Show.
Hey!
Finally got a second little and I kept mucking up. Such a tongue twister.
Love it. It's a hit.
That's it. Absolutely.
Also, I think it's to the Aquafresh advert, so thank you, Aquafresh.
That's us getting sued. That's us getting sued.
We would never have known you to get away with it.
Bloody hell. Right, it's time to
say it.
Say it. Time for some subbies.
Subbies!
But before we do that, for some reason we're doing the Game Pass editions. I don't know why they're in the subby section.
It's a subscription!
They are part of your subscription.
Jeez Louise.
Ah dear. Right, okay. So coming to Game Pass on the 11th of November, that's today as we record, that is GTA San Andreas, the definitive edition. So the remastered trilogy is out now to buy. I think it's about 50 quid. But if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can get GTA San Andreas, the definitive edition, for free as part of your subscription on Game Pass. It looks really great, and it's the biggest of a lot of them. Remember, that was the game that had three cities. Astonishing. So I'm kind of looking forward to jumping in that and trying that again. I did really enjoy that game. Also, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, never heard of it, Anniversary Edition. That's coming to console, PC, and Cloud. And of course, Dicey Dungeons is also coming to console. On the 18th of November, you've got Microsoft Flight Sim Game of the Year Edition coming to console and PC, and Undungeon is coming to console and PC. On the 23rd of November, you've got Deer Simulator, your average everyday deer game. That's coming to console. On the 30th of November, Evil Genius 2 World Domination. I know Blunder's excited about that one. All right, so your Xbox games with gold. We have, let me see, we've got a little bit of time left on this one. Until November the 15th, you can get Hover. From November the 1st to the 30th of November, so for the full month, you've got Moving Out. That's the Team 17 game. It looks fabulous, actually. I'm going to have to pick that up. November the 1st to the 15th, you've got Rocket Knight. From November 16th to the 30th of November, you've got Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. And from November the 16th to the 15th of December, I guess, that's Kingdom 2 Crowns. And over on the PlayStation side of town, we have Knockout City. That's coming to PS5 and PS4. First Class Travel is also there. That's for PS5 and PS4. Kingdoms of Amalur. Amalur? That's the Re-Reckoning. It's PS4. The Persistence, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and Until You Fall are a bumper 3 PSVR games that are also there for the 5th anniversary of PSVR. So, yeah, fabulous month. I think that's a really good month for PlayStation. And there's a couple of decent ones on Xbox as well. So, not a bad month for your subbies. Subbies! There we are. So, going to games, we last week played Back 4 Blood for our multiplayer with the lovely Tommy B298. What was your thoughts, Paolo? What was your thoughts on Back 4 Blood?
It's alright. It's one of these games that was fun to play that night, but I don't know if I'll play it again without friends. You know, I'll not actively go, oh, I just want a game of Back 4 Blood tonight. Do you know what I mean? If somebody said, oh, do you want a game of Back 4 Blood, I'd maybe go, I'll play with just to play with people. But it was fun, but I don't think I'll act. It's not 100% my kind of game for doing that.
Okay.
And that's the Paul Kaczynski review.
That's that. That's the Paul Kaczynski one pager. What about yourself, Blunder? What did you think?
I think it's a game I'll keep on my console for like having a laugh with pals. I wasn't drawn to playing it as single player, and I played all the Left 4 Dead games as single player because I didn't have them on Xbox Internet or never people played it. But I played all the Left 4 Dead, well, both of them, numerous times in single player. It just felt, I don't know what the difference is. Like, it was fun. It was oddly difficult at times.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the monsters respawning. I guess it was fine. It was good fun. It was fun in the moment, but I've not had the urge to be like, oh, I can't wait to jump back into Back 4 Blood and see how that chapter ended.
Yeah.
There's no like inertial drawback to it. But if someone was like, oh, do you want to jump on for a stream, or I'm going to finish this chapter, do you fancy it? I'd be like, okay, that'd be fun. Yeah. I'm not going to go rush home to play it myself.
I think it sort of very much does what it says in the tin. I don't think it does anything revolutionary. No. I think everyone sort of thought, oh, I can't wait to see what what they would do with a Left 4 Dead game these days, and they haven't really done anything with it. Really, they've just kind of done a sort of similar sort of Left 4 Dead kind of thing. I think that the problem is there's a lot of games out there that, even if you think of World War Z or something, there's a lot of games that have done a very similar thing very recently. I thought it looked gorgeous. The graphics were excellent. I liked the monsters. I think the actual multiplayer stuff was really well done. And enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed the fact that there was friendly fire. It was a nightmare to have, but it was quite good to have
hilarious.
on. It was, I did enjoy it. Yeah, much like yourselves, I don't think I'd be rushing to go and play it again, but it being on Game Pass is a great thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed it. Paolo, you've been playing a lot of games. What you been playing?
Well, it was mentioned earlier on. I jumped into Forza Horizon 5. Big release this week on Xbox and PC. As you said, the PC's having a few issues. A lot of people saying it's not working properly. Hopefully they'll get that sorted fairly quickly. On Xbox, I played it on Xbox Series S, and it works like a dream. It's absolutely beautiful. One of the best startings to a game in a while. I really enjoyed the opening of it. Yeah. Driving games are funny. They're a wee bit like Dark Souls, I'd say. When we were talking about Dark Souls earlier, I was, very close to comparing it to a driving game in that I quite enjoy playing them. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the racing of them and all that. But I very quickly go, and I'm kind of done with it. And that was fun, and it's good, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I just get bored a wee bit. Horizon's a wee bit different because it's open worldy, so that's why I'm also kind of curious about Elden Ring, because I wonder if it's going to be the same thing. Yeah. Very different games, obviously, but
I was going to say it's definitely not going to be the same thing I'm looking at right now. It's not the same.
Yes, racing that dragon.
Somebody put on Twitter, I thought it was a great way of looking at it, was they said something like, who would have thought that the best open world RPG this year would be a driving game? Yeah, and I kind of get what they mean. I mean, they're maybe not 100% right, but with it being open world and you can go and do different things, and if you get bored of races, you can go and do a stunt, or you can do a speed test kind of thing and all that. There's just enough to kind of mix it up and steer you in a different way whenever you want. One of the things, streaming it, Tommy B was watching when we were streaming, and Tommy B hit the nail on the head with Horizon. It kind of throws a lot at you. When the map opens up, and it opens up very quickly, they're just constantly throwing things at you and going, you can go and do this, and you can go and do that, and you can go and do this. And at first you're a bit like, whoa.
Very Ubisoft.
You're just like, whoa, what's going on? So that's a wee bit overwhelming at the start, but it plays great, and it looks beautiful, the same as Forza Horizon 4 did. It plays really well. It's really fun. I'm rubbish at fast cars. I always have been in driving games. The super fast ones I can't control, but like the ones that's on just now, the kind of Land Rover type ones, the kind of cross country ones, I love them. Something that's controllable and is a bit slower. It's a lot. Listen, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. How often will I play it? I don't know. Again, it was great to pick up for a stream and have a good look at it and investigate wee corners of it. I have since played it off stream and enjoyed it. How much of it I do, I don't know, but it's good. Listen, it's good. It's a great driving. If you're into driving games, it's great. It's brilliant. If you're alright about them, you'll pick it up and play it for a wee bit, I think. Have you guys played it at all?
No. It's the sort of game that I would download just to have a look at it, and I'd play like, I'd play an hour or two off it and probably quite enjoy it, and then literally never pick up again. It's just they're just no my thing, driving games, really. The last driving game that I really became obsessed with was Burnout 3 Takedown. And I'm mostly just like smashing into things.
Right, aye. The thing that would maybe hook me into Forza Horizon is the collecting aspect of it. There's something ludicrous like 400 odd cars, I think, in it. And like when you win races and different things, you get a wee spin the wheel kind of thing, and you can win like money or XP or a car. And the idea of collecting all the cars slightly appeals, and that's maybe what would bring me back to do it. But yeah, I'm a bit the same as you. I enjoy it for a while, and then I go, well, that's that done.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up because I kind of want to see. I want to see something really like quote unquote pushing the Xbox Series S. And this looks like the game at the moment that's going to push it the hardest. So
it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Yeah. Another game I've been playing, which I've been threatening to play properly for about 3 years, was Star Citizen.
Yes.
That I jumped into and got a wee feel for last week, and I knew there was a big patch coming this week, so I didn't want to do too much because it was getting wiped. So I used last week to kind of get to grips with how things worked and how the game worked. It's got a very, very steep learning curve, as you can imagine. But I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. It's so thick. There's a lot, obviously, it's an alpha, so there's a lot wrong with it, and I'm not naive to the fact it's probably a scam. But the way I looked at it was, what am I going to get for my $40? Am I going to get $40 worth of enjoyment out of it, even though it's alpha and it might never be finished? And I'd say I've already got it. It's so much fun. It's like Elite. We were trying to kind of describe it today.
I was going to say, is this the game that you kind of wish Elite was?
A wee bit, yeah. It's very ambitious. It's very, very ambitious. And made by the guy that did like Wing Commander and all that. And this was his dream, to have this universe that people could run about in, which is essentially like an MMO, really, a kind of first-person shooter space sim MMO. And it's the thing I think we stumbled on today when we were talking about it was that Elite makes you feel like you're the ship. So the ship does everything. The ship flies here, it gets that, buys that, takes it over there, blah, blah, blah. Now, I know you can go out the ship now and walk about, different things. I've not tried that in Elite, and it's not been great, I've heard. But then this, you feel that you're the person. You feel that you're the person going in the ship, and you're flying the ship, and you literally pick up a box and take it to your ship and put it in your ship. And you take that box to somewhere, and you pick that box up and take it somewhere.
Do you take a helmet, Paolo? Do you take a helmet?
You were there for that, were you?
I arrived in the aftermath. I think I saw somebody hosing down the...
I may have got out my ship in space without my helmet on, yes. I forgot I was at a spaceport. I thought I was in a planet, and I just got out, and I died like instantly. I was like, oh, I'm there, and I've not got my helmet on, right? Okay. Can't breathe in space. Must remember that.
Just your head, just a crumpled mush.
But the thing I was worried about with Star Citizen was, would there be enough to do? Because it's alpha 3.15, or that is at the moment. And I was worried, is there going to be enough to do? Because that was the main issue. As I said to Jabrias, who was playing it, I was saying, what can you do in it? And I remember him saying not too long ago, well, you can do a wee delivery mission now. So you can go and you get a box, and you take a box to your ship, and you go and deliver it. And I was a bit like, that it? Is that all you can do? He's, well, that's the mission at the moment. I was like, okay, I'm maybe not ready to jump into this yet. But last week, as I went into it, I found out you can do that, which is actually ludicrously satisfying if you're at that kind of thing. You can also do cargo runs if your ship's big enough, so you're making bigger money. You can do bounty hunter missions, so that is flying and doing space combat, or you might fly to a planet, land, get out and go in a building and do first-person shooter stuff to get them. And it's just so much fun. If you're into that kind of thing, that's the thing. If you're into that kind of game, then you're going to get a lot out of it. If it's not your thing, then it's just going to annoy you because it's too difficult. But if you don't mind kind of learning the ropes, which does take a bit of time, and they've introduced, with this patch, they've introduced death as consequential now. So beforehand you would just die and then you'd respawn with everything, and that was it. There was actually no penalty for death. But now, as we found out today, you die, you drop your stuff.
Oh.
So you then have to go back to where your stuff is and get it. So wherever it is. So Jabrias, who I was playing with today, his ship blew up over a planet. He gets shot down, and his body just fell to earth, so he had no idea what it was. So he was spent half an hour looking for his body.
God.
Whereas when I died in a building, so I knew what building I was at, so I could go and get it there. So I honestly, it's really good. It might never be finished, and it might just be a big money making scam for a pretty game. But it's so much fun. As I said to you guys, I spent the first stream of it just walking about, going, "Oh, look at this! This is amazing."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. I could go on and on about it, but I won't.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it, though. Anything else you've been playing?
Well, do you know, I'll just very briefly touch on Halo 3, which I've been doing as well. Playing through the Halo games on a Monday night, and we're at Halo 3, just about finished Halo 3. And all I want to say about it is it's fun. You know, it's more Halo, it's more of the same. But I think the Master Chief Collection has maybe shot themselves in the foot quite a bit, because Halo 2 was so well remastered. It's so well done. The cutscenes are phenomenal. They were done a couple of years ago, so they're video full motion quality. And then Halo 3 is Halo 3 as it was, more or less. So you almost go back 10 years. So it feels like you're going back a wee step once you go into Halo 3. But I mean, it's just Halo. It's just, you know, as we said when I started it, Colin, it's just Halo again.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 shoot these guys, move on. I have no idea what's happening in the story, and it doesn't matter. It's just, it doesn't make a difference to me, honestly. I kind of get to grips roughly with what's going on, but it's so...
You're really glad you decided this when you've still got another 3 games to go?
And I've got to do it before December.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's pretty much me. I mean, I've got other ones there I could go on and on, but I'll shut up.
It's all right. Blunder, you've been playing a bunch of stuff as well. Tell us what you've been playing.
So I was so excited for this game coming out. It's Project Zero made in Blackwater, or for those in America, Fatal Frame made in Blackwater. And Spooky Ghost Games. It's the 5th game in the series. It was on the Wii U. They remastered it for Switch, PS5, 4, Xboxes, any modern kind of console. And basically, it's just more of the same kind of spooky ghost stuff that's going on. There's this water feature. It's like, so it takes place at the base of this mountain, and you play 3 different characters who are called to the mountain for some reason. And it's a famous spot where people go to unalive themselves, and that's where all the ghosts are there. And you're trying to find different. So one of the main characters, she has this thing called the spirit sense or spirit touch, and she can see where people have been spirited away. So you're there trying to look for people, and you're sent in assignments, and you meet various other characters, and it's very good. So I played this in the Wii U. In the Wii U, you had the paddle as your camera. You had to look around your room.
God.
And that was really immersive. They used the DualSense, so you can you've got motion control to move your camera. I turned it off because my brain instinctually goes to the original games, the PS2, and I just like using the control pad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I turned that off for me because I found the way I'm sitting as well. Whenever I pull my camera up, I'm aiming at my feet. Right, and then I was like, try to like zoom, just spin myself up to get the ghosts. But I mean, it's great. It's very atmospheric. The nice thing about this one is the games have always been in chapters, but it used to be you played the chapters through and that was it. With this one, once you complete a chapter, you can go back and replay it as many times as you want, just from that chapter title, which is nice. It's very good. The storytelling's great. Controls a wee bit suspect. Like I don't quite like the running motion in it. And then there's this thing where you go to pick up an item and a ghost hand appears to grab you.
No.
I used to be pretty good at avoiding it, but with the PS5, I don't know if it's because the controller depresses. I'm really slow at pulling my finger off the trigger, so I keep getting like grabbed by ghosts and then screaming. But no, it's good. But the creators have said, Project Zero's been this weird limbo where it was a PlayStation 2 and then it moved to the Wii, where they did Fatal Frame, Project Zero 4, and a remake of the second one. Then the Wii U got the 5th one, and then they've put this one on all the consoles.
Okay.
And the studio or the developer, the creator said, depending on how this game does, they might be able to bring back the other games, like and remaster.
There you
kind
go,
of like they've done with Grand Theft Auto. So if you love horror games and if you like the Project Zero games when they first came out, buy Made in Blackwater so we can get them back and we can maybe get a 6. Or the UK and Europe could get the 4th game released here, and America, because that never came across for Japan. It stayed Japan only, so people had to patch it and stuff. So if you like spooky ghost games, buy that. 'Cause it's very
Or
good.
don't buy it, and then they'll stop
No.
making these games.
No, buy lots of copies, and even if you buy a disc and send it, Hogg-Simmons, or buy my wee code and send them it.
Yeah, we could get codes for that, Paolo.
I won't pay. I won't play it. Don't buy me a code, people. I won't
I can say there are no spooky kids until chapter 5, and then there's none.
Spooky kids.
They try and play Tigray, and you're like, get off me!
No.
Would you play?
very
Would you
fun.
play Tig with Spooky Kid, Paolo?
No.
Yes, you would. And they go, come play with us. And then they
No.
run a bit,
Terrifying.
gotcha! And then they pour Yankee, and you're like, ah!
I do not
But
want
yeah.
to be ganked. Thank you.
So, being away through that, it's been fun. On a whim, in a late
Ooh.
night whim, I don't even know why I did it, and I'm glad I did. I decided to buy Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, you
Oh.
did, and you've been raving about it in our
Do you
WhatsApp
know-
ever since.
It is so good.
Oh.
Like, it's just, it does, I think it does everything they wanted to try and do with Avengers. And I think because they decided to have Avengers with an online aspect, a lot of it get not taken out, but kind of stripped back a little bit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, it's so good. Like, the story's really clever. Like, what's quite good is we all have an understanding of who the Guardians of the Galaxy are because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it knows you know things, but then it feeds in bits of other story. Like, it's not the film universe. They talk about Thanos, and I think it follows the comic book storyline of Thanos, and I won't spoil it for him. But when they mentioned Thanos, I went, gasp, and then had to go and research a bit. And it's not long after the Guardians of the Galaxy have formed, so they all don't quite trust each other, so they're building their relationships. You've got dialogue choices during out, and you get like a Rocket will remember that and trust you more. And depending on what you say, you can unlock different ways to end conversations and unlock new areas.
So it's a wee bit BioWare-esque at points.
Yeah, but not as in depth. It's still kind of just keeps the story going, and you can avoid saying anything. And then like they're really snarky and cheeky. Like, see if you go off to explore an area, they'll be like, "What you doing over there, boss? I'll just find something shiny." They're like, pure rip it out of you if you're like going off track.
Probably best you don't play this, Paolo.
It's not open world, so as you've got areas which have detours to the sides, but it's very much you're heading for a goal in each area.
Right.
But the writing's very witty. The soundtrack is amazing. The gameplay's fun. I know, Colin, you were saying people were kind of slating the combat.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's edgelord. Star-Lord is like Lara Croft with a short backsides. But it kind of works. And as you get points, you unlock different abilities. So you can fly in the air as Star-Lord and pew, 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 pew for the sky. And Groot summons his vines and like holds bad guys to the ground. And then Star-Lord gets a really cool power with his guns to get an elemental ability.
Yeah.
So you can use that. And the puzzles are team-based. So like Groot can create vines to cross big gaps, and Rocket uses keypads, and Gamora slices things, and Drax picks things up and stuff. So like you definitely, it feels like they're a team working together. Avengers just felt like 4 people running around punching things.
Yeah.
And they've got a lovely bit where you go and play Star-Lord as a teenager before he went to space, and that's like 80s nostalgia overload. It's very well done. But it's
cool.
so good. And there's a great bit in combat. If you're getting battered or if you're doing really well, you push R1A1 and you group together and you give them a pep talk. If you get it right, everyone gets a buff and you get like a song for the 80s playing.
Brilliant.
But it's so like it's just such an enjoyable game to play. It's challenging. The enemy variety is amazing as well. Like at the first level, I think I fought like 9 different types of enemies. Like
That's cool.
It's just I've been loving it to pieces, and I'd say if you had a sour taste of your mouth from Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy does everything opposite. Like it does everything so right. I'm in chapter 6. I think there's like 17 chapters, maybe. I'm guessing. And it's just I can't wait to finish it and go back and make different choices and play it differently.
Oh, okay.
And you unlock costumes by finding them and the levels, and then you can just equip them. And they're all from like comic books. The way Marvel Spider-Man had them.
Yeah.
Right.
You can just equip them when you get them. And it's quite fun, so it changes up a wee bit. But no,
It's quite cool.
it's if you're looking for a fun team-based action adventure game that's got amazing writing and very funny, definitely pick up Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you know what? I wouldn't even wait for a sale. It's that good. I'd say
Oh,
it's
There we go.
See,
usually
I'll
I
take
wait for a
this to the
sale.
bank.
I hummed and hawed about this, and when it first was kind of getting shown, I was like, "Oh, that was quite fun." The fact it was a single player kind of turned me off a wee bit. But the moment you said you got it and the way you've been speaking about it is just, I'm getting closer and closer. I'm like, oh.
Because that's the thing. Remember, it announced, I went, "Oh, here we go." I was so against it, and then I'm actually like, I love it, and it benefits from being a single player team based game where you get to shout out commands and stuff. It's just
I've heard
so good.
a lot of good things about it. As I said, the one thing that a number of views have said is the combat's. They call the combat boring.
No, I found the combat. See, once you get tactics, it's actually it's very fast paced. And I can imagine if you're just shooting your guns, but once you figure out how to buddy up, like eventually you can just like, I don't even know how I triggered it, but you can trigger these attacks where you all just start battering lumps at each other, unlock special moves, and like if you freeze things, Drax can chuck them at other things. Like, so once you start, like, the combat's actually really deep once you get by the bullet storm aspect of being Star-Lord and start paying attention to everything but you, the combat gets really smart.
I'll need to check it.
I know it's
so tempting.
It's phenomenal. It's so good. I'm loving it.
Nice.
Yeah. I did get the Grand Theft Auto Vice City Remaster. I'll just say briefly, I played a little bit of Vice City. I've installed Vice City in 3 because San Andreas was not my favourite. But Vice City I loved. And I've tried to play. I bought I bought Vice City on my PS4, and I was struggling with the controls of the camera.
Yeah,
it controls really well.
Okay, good.
I found it on the PS5. It's controlling really well. It feels really slick and smooth. Maybe a bit too slick and smooth. It feels like really, really slick and smooth. Like the driving feels great. The gunplay feels great. I love the art style. It really suits it. It feels like you're playing a wee adult cartoon. Is it Archer?
Yeah.
It feels like you're playing Archer. And it's lovely. It's been great so far. I've only played the first hour of Vice City. And I'll be able to talk more when I play more of it. But I think they've done a really nice job of the graphic update, the control update, and it feels like you're playing a modern game with a kind of retro look to it. I've been enjoying that probably more when we finish tonight. And I did jump into Jurassic Evolution 1 because the sequels came out, but I'm going to wait to get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm playing this to say that Velociraptors are just evil. Because they keep breaking out my dino pens and eating my guests. And I don't know how to keep them in the pen. If anyone knows how, let me know.
Your scientists spent so long wondering whether they could. They didn't stop to think about whether they should.
Very good. Very good.
That's what happened.
Life does find a way, and it's found a way to eat my guests. But I thought I'd go back into that and try and finish that off before I get the sequel, because the sequels might be very, very good. The sequel does a bunch of what-if scenarios. So what if the original park succeeded? And what if the San Diego park succeeded? So it's kind of... I was like, I want to do the first one first, and then I'll get the same one as a Christmas present to myself.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Excellent. Well, I got a couple of things for myself. I've barely played anything this week, really. I have been very busy, but I jumped into Age of Empires 4, and yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I'm hoping to stream it at some point. It's a lot of fun. Sorry, Paolo, I threw you off there.
It's all right.
And it's a lot of fun. I think it looks great. It feels like Age of Empires. It feels very much like an Age of Empires game. It doesn't feel dramatically different, but what I do think is if it was like Assassin's Creed or a Call of Duty where it was coming out almost every single year, an Age of Empires game, and it just felt like every other one, then I think that would be a problem. I think because it's been so long since an Age of Empires game, I think it's okay that this one's a bit of a throwback. And I really like it. You played a wee bit of it, Paolo, as well?
Yeah, no, it was good. I did a wee bit of the campaign. I had a wee quick game with Odentior, which was good. But yeah, like you say, it's a wee hark back. It's nice. More of the same, but shiny.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But the game I really want to talk about is Return of the Obra Dinn, which I've been playing on stream over the last couple of days, and wow, what a really cool game it is. This is it's a one-man job. This basically, Lucas Pope made this entire game himself, basically. It's astonishing. It's a sort of maritime mystery about a ghost ship which went missing, was presumed lost at sea after it didn't make it to its kind of stop on its journey to the Orient. It's set in the year 1806, I believe, and but all of a sudden the ship kind of floats back into Falmouth Harbour with broken sails and no crew. There's a couple of dead bodies on board the ship, but no crew alive. And you are sent as an insurance investigator for the East India Trading Company, with essentially a magic compass and a diary that's been sent to you by the ship's doctor. And you need to work out what happened. And the game sort of takes place in a series of tableaus. And what you do is you, when you find the body, your kind of magical compass that you've got basically transports you to a sort of approximation of that moment in time. And you see this tableau of this terrible thing happening, whether it's somebody being shot or stabbed or
extreme diarrhea.
But yeah, there's a terrible, horrible diarrhea moment, and various monster attacks and various other things. There's loads of stuff. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But as you can see, for people that are watching just now, or anyone that wants to check out the stream, the VODs of the stream, it has the most spectacular art style. It's this monochrome, black and white sort of almost pixel art kind of look. But the actual ship is astonishingly detailed. That you're on this massive ship, 4 different decks. You've got this massive book that breaks down all the various chapters of the ship's voyage. You've got a roster of 60 crew that you have to keep an eye on and try and work out who everyone is. And that's it. You're having to work out who people are, either by the things they say, the accents they have, the actions they have, and you're jumping about to try and figure out where, you're like, I saw this guy earlier on. But and I'm sure somebody called him a name or they talked to him about something, but I can't remember what. So you have to go all the way back to that other tableau, and then you say, oh, okay, so that guy's Russian. Oh, right, okay. So these are my Russian sailors, but I know it's not him because I've already found that guy, and it's not. It becomes like a very elaborate game of Guess Who, sort of. It's really fabulous. It's really it's really worth checking out. It's the Return of the Obra Din. Now, I haven't actually fact-checked this, but Jabrias told me it was on Game Pass. I don't know if it is.
It's not.
No,
it's not. I checked at that moment, yeah.
It's not on Game Pass, there we go.
No.
But you can get it. You can get it on Steam. It's about 15 quid on Steam. It's also, I believe you can buy it on the Xbox store for about 17 quid, I think Tommy B said. It's really great. It's really cool. I'm going to play some more of it again. I won't be streaming it tomorrow, but I'm going to jump back into it maybe sometime next week and have another wee go at it, because there's 60 fates to discover, and I think I'm somewhere in the region of about 25 or 30 that I've managed to get. And I actually inadvertently ended the game. And it turns out that the person that sent me on the mission was so disappointed with how badly I'd done, he died of a broken heart. At which point me and the entire chat were just like, oh, F's in chat. That's not a good. That is not a good review.
It's funny. It looks like an old kind of Spectrum or Commodore game.
Yeah,
graphically, that's what it looks like.
It's got that feel, but at the same time, it's actually
very
technically
smooth.
very impressive. It's fabulous. It really is fabulous. I had at 10:30, Scottish Twitch partner 10:30 JH. I saw him play a tiny bit of it, and I think he had been gifted it by his pal Limmy. Because I think Limmy had I don't know if Limmy had played it or not, but he had certainly knew that 10:30 would potentially like it. Now, I don't know if 10:30 did end up liking it or not, because I didn't watch it, because I saw enough of it and thought, I think I want to play this, so I kind of didn't see any more of it.
Up his street, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have thought so. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I was very pleasantly surprised with it. It was exactly what I was looking for.
Nice.
It's bloody hard though. It is hard. So the viewers have been in touch. Let's see what the viewers have been playing. Bri22 on the Discord, still playing Back for Blood. Plus started playing Deep Rock Galactic. Oh, Blunder's favorite game.
Stinky.
And Crab Game. Plus some PD2 on stream. Nice one, Bri.
Yeah.
Hamster Boy, Mr. Producer. Been playing a little bit of Apex Legends again, and was back finding my sea legs with Kaczynski et al. And you were indeed, Hamster Boy, Mr. Producer.
On the wrong end of some Athena people trying to get their loot back.
You've got a bit of a interesting ride, didn't you? Odentior, the aforementioned Odentior, has been in touch, checking out a new horror game called Poppy Playtime. That sounds just right up your street, Paolo.
Nope.
Also been playing Skyrim to mark the 10th anniversary. Yes. Social Scruffy has been in touch via Twitter to say Forza Horizon 5, Vamonos, and some lovely Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Scruffy's obsessed with the Assassin's Creed games on that shiny Xbox Series X of his.
Screenshot-tastic.
He's always sharing some gorgeous screenshots. I did see a wonderful screenshot Scruffy shared of him being battered by was it an elk or something? It was an elk or a big moose or something. And the moose looks really majestic, and you could just see Scruffy's Ivor being like catapulted into the distance. That's like, oops. Tommy B298 got in touch via Insta. There we are, you hipster. You. He's been playing Conan, Forza 5.
Said it right.
And a bit of Back for Blood with some Scottish reprobates that I know. Don't know who he's talking about. Has he been cheating on us? Has he been cheating on us?
No idea. What's Conan?
And finally,
never mind. Conan.
Conan. Get it right up you. Finally, in the Discord, Colin Mac 42 got in touch to say played AI the Somnium Files, which is on Game Pass. Great wee game with 5 endings to find and a good story to go with it. Nice one. It was something a little different from the norm. Also, really enjoying COD and Forza 5. I assume that's Call of Duty Vanguard.
Yes, it is.
Nice. I was a wee bit tempted by that.
Nah, I'm not.
The reviews haven't been very good, so I'm not so tempted now. But I was tempted when I saw the trailer. So there we are. So that's what the viewers and listeners have been playing. Now, don't forget, next episode is episode 100. It's going to be our super duper bumper episode, and of course, we're looking for fan fiction, any sort of art or anything you want to send us to be included in the podcast, send it our way. And of course, we always love to know your thoughts on games, game news, all that sort of stuff. If you've got any daft questions or such have for us, send us those as well. And to do that, well, here is how you do it.
We'd love to hear from you. Find us on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram, where we are at Nearly Men, or email info@thenearlymen.com.
Okay, let's get through these new releases. So today, on the 11th of November, we've got a whole bunch of stuff dropping today. We've got Killer in the Cabin, that's coming to PC. We've got Synth Riders, that's for PSVR. Epic Chief is coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. That's from Team 17. We've got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on the Switch. This is not the remaster that's coming to PS5. This is a port to the Switch. Skyrim Special Edition. I guess this is the anniversary edition. That's PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, and of course the Xbox One. That's also today to mark the 10th anniversary. On the 12th of November, we've got Shin Megami Tensei V, I guess. That's on the Switch. On the 16th of November, we've got Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. Ooh, that's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X. 19th, I did not realize this was coming quite as quickly as it was. 19th of November, Battlefield 2042. That's a big release. That's PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and the Xbox One. On the 23rd of November, you've got Death's Door coming to PS5 and PS4 from Devolver Digital. 25th of November, we've got Cricket 22, the official game of the Ashes. That's coming to PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, and of course, Xbox One. And finally, on the 26th of November, Lens Island is coming to PC. Boys, has there been anything from the chat?
Yes, indeed, there has. Bri2208 was in the chat. Says a question for you all, but can be addressed after the podcast or in the next episode. No, Bri. No man waits for Bri. Mm-hmm. Do you think Elden Ring or the next Elder Scrolls game will be more popular and sell more copies? Which do you think will be better, bigger?
I think Elder Scrolls will sell more.
Yep, Elder Scrolls will sell more.
I would agree. I think
Longer
purely
fan base,
that's purely it. Yeah,
more spread.
It's yes, it's much more. And pretty much everyone will probably get Elder Scrolls. I guess the only tricky thing of that is whether or not it comes to Game Pass day one, and what effect that might have on.
Is it an exclusive
sales and stuff? Well, I think it will be an exclusive. I think Xbox would be daft not to make it an exclusive.
It depends what the deal is, though. Because Bethesda wouldn't want it to be exclusive.
I don't think once you're bought out for so many billion, I don't think you really care.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think. I mean, it might come eventually to other consoles, but I think Deathloop's basically the last kind of day one Bethesda game on PlayStation.
Oh my!
You never know. I mean, there might be a deal in place. But see if Elder Scrolls was even coming out next year, for instance. I think there would be a possibility that the deal would already have been done with PlayStation, possibly a bit like what happened with Deathloop, and possibly there might have been the chance. I think it's still quite a long way off, and as a result, I'm more tempted to believe that it'll likely be Xbox only, or as Blunder says, at the very least Xbox and PC only for a while.
Yeah. Plus, being on Game Pass, that's going to open up a lot of people as well that maybe wouldn't normally get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, possibly, yeah. Yep.
So I think Elder Scrolls has won it, Bri.
Yeah.
Hamster Boy. Sorry.
I think they'll both be great games, though. I think they will both be great, and I don't think Elden Ring will. I think it'll do very well. But it's not. It's a new franchise. Compared to a hotly anticipated. I mean, how much money Skyrim made?
Exactly. Yeah. Hamster Boy, in relation to the 100th episode, he says he's getting a lot of mixed messages here. Says get the juices going, but keep it non-explicit.
Exactly.
Yep,
exactly.
That's it.
Al-Nubis says... Sorry?
Have you got any mixed messages or mixed metaphors you'd like to send Hamster Boy's way, Blunder? I've caught him with the hop here now.
He's going to get it right.
It's no one. It's like 2 in the stone, 1 in the coop. I don't know. Like
that. My days!
I don't even know how many. I don't even know how many metaphors that was.
You're welcome.
Al-Nubis, in relation to me not watching television, he says if Paul Kaczynski isn't in it, Paul Kaczynski doesn't watch it.
Aye, that's true. That'll be about right.
And Evil Monkey, referencing back to Henry Cavill, the Greek god that he is, if his fan club isn't called the Cavalry, someone failed.
Absolutely, Evil Monkey. Absolutely.
And Polar Knights was there as well, who just slid in and said, wow, this is epic. It's the perfect evolution of beards.
Yes. I don't know which way we go, though. Who's
me, Paul, you?
I think it need to be that order.
You've got more chin coverage than Paul.
I've not got the...
Mine's a bit long at the moment. Mine's getting a bit long.
I shaved for my Halloween costume, so mine's is just fluff.
Sure. That and you're 12.
Yeah, that too.
That too. Right, so that's that. But we have some upcoming stream. Well, actually, there's only really one stream that's worth talking about, really. Obviously, apart from episode 100 of the Nearly Men podcast. But just before that, next Friday, in fact, Paolo, you've got something a little special planned.
I do. I've got my 1,000 follower celebration stream on Friday, the 9th of November, as you say, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 a.m. Scottish time.
Nope.
Going to be a whole host of things, community games, quizzes. The big thing is the wee Maverick is going to play a game with me on stream, which is huge. And we're playing the divorce game, probably.
I was going to say, is it going to be the divorce game? Excellent.
So tune in. Paul Kaczynski, 19th of November, 7 a.m.
Fabulous. And you are doing 1,000 minutes.
Yes. Which translates as 16 hours and 40 minutes. Well, I think 1,000 minutes translates, to 16 hours, 40 minutes.
Madness.
We'll see how we go.
That'll be a lot of fun.
It's Friday the 19th, wee Maverick.
Friday the 19th, indeed. Good. Well, that's that. So make sure that you set your calendars for that.
Yes,
indeed. Linda, did you like that? Set your calendars.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mark your watches. Mark your watches. Everyone, set your calendars. There we go. In the meantime, Paolo, you on tomorrow? You streaming tomorrow?
Should be, yes, sir, in the morning.
I'll be on sort of sometime kind of late morning, probably early afternoon. And Blunder's working too hard.
I'm going to be elusive for the next couple of weeks still. Life things.
Elusive. Yes, you've got lots of life stuff happening.
Well, I think everyone knows I've started a job in the end of November. I'm moving house, and it's just a wee bit too up in the air for anything happening just now. So, yeah.
Fair enough. So you'll get Blunder. The return of the Blunder will happen eventually,
and it'll be magnificent.
It will indeed. It absolutely will. And obviously, Paolo will have the Sunday social as well. So lots to look forward to. Anyway, that has been episode 99 of the Nearly Men podcast. Please do join us for our episode 100 spectacular next time. Do remember to get all your various pieces of Nearly Men fan fiction, arts, general abuse in. Make sure you get it all in. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have some fun with that. And and you can catch us then. This episode has been brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy. Mr. Producer. In a moment, you're going to see our lovely list of our other producers as well. Please do enjoy that when you see it, and give your name a wee wave if you're a producer of the podcast. Blunder, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Paolo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. We will see you again on the 25th of November for episode 100. Bye-bye, everybody.